My close friend asked me for $3,500 yesterday, and this is the first time in 5 years I'm genuinely thinking about saying no. Not because she doesn't pay me back, she always does, but because every single business she's ever started has failed. And the worst part, this time, the idea actually makes sense. Her name is Joycey, and this is where I am right now. One situation, no easy answer. What would you do? Her name is Joycey. We met during a master's degree program. And from the very first week, something clicked between us that I genuinely cannot fully explain even now. 5 years later, through everything that comes after graduation, the job hunting, the cost of living reality check, the slow grinding work of trying to beat something from nothing, and we're still showing up for each other. We're the kind of friend who talked about money without ever being weird. Salaries, savings, debt, investment, business ideas that may or may never work out. All of it is on the table between us openly and comfortably. That level of trust took real time to build, and I do not take it for granted for a single second. We have lent each other money more times than I can honestly count over the years. Small amounts, grocery money, transport, a bill that simply could not wait until payday. Always paid back. Never once awkward. Never once did either of us have to ask twice to follow up. That's the foundation of what we have built. Now Joycey, she has this entrepreneurial spirit that I genuinely admire, more than I've ever probably told her directly. She does not sit still and wait for life to happen. She sees opportunity and she moves towards it with boldness and confidence that I've simply never had in me. Every time a door closes on her, she's already scanning the walls for the next one to open. That quality in the person is rare. I know that's better than most. But the results have been difficult to watch. There was an online product business she had launched with real excitement. Slow sales killed it within 3 months. There was a service business she set up in the local area. Competition made it nearly impossible to sustain, and she had to let it go. And there was another venture she simply lost momentum with before it even found its footing and had a chance to breathe. Each time she absorbed the loss quietly, dusted herself up without drama, and she started searching for the next idea. She never wallowed, she never blamed anyone, she never gave up entirely. I will always give her that without hesitation. Me, on the other hand, I have never once attempted the business in my life. The thought of losing money keeps me permanently behind the fence watching. So while Joycey is out there taking swings, I'm sitting safely on the sideline. Sometimes, I genuinely wonder which one of us has it right. What I've always done, consistently and without being asked, is show up for her business even when she did not make them work for herself. I've marketed for Joycey so aggressively that people would genuinely stop me and ask if I was one of the business owners. I've shared her pages, created content for her, sent voice notes to people in my contacts, recommending her products and services. All of it for free, all of it because I believed in her, even when the numbers were telling a different story. Somewhere along the line, I started watching YouTube video on entrepreneurship, marketing and sales. Not for myself, not because I had any personal ambition in that direction, just so I could be more useful to her, so I could give her sharper advice, so I could be the kind of friend that her dreams actually deserved. That is a friendship we've built over 5 years. When she struggles, I find a way to struggle alongside her. When she wins, I celebrate like the victory belongs to me too. And that has always been enough until now. Now, here is when things get honest. Life after a master's degree has not been easy for either of us in the way we probably expected when we're sitting in those lecture halls making plans. The jobs we hoped for did not always materialize on the timeline we imagined. The cost of living eats harder than anything a textbook could have prepared us for. Right now, I have $7,500 saved. It has taken real discipline and real sacrifice to reach that number, and I'll be completely honest, it hasn't been a smooth journey. Every year, I set a savings target, and every year something knocks me back. An emergency, an unexpected expense. This year, I told myself it would be different. This year, I'm hitting the number. My goal is $9,000 by the end of the year. I have saved $300 every month, and I'm right on track for the first time in a long time. Joycey knows I save consistently. She does not know the exact figure, but her financial situation right now is likely significantly lower than mine, not because she earns less, but because her business attempts over the years have cost her real money. Trial and error is expensive when you're the one funding every experiment. And through all of it, she has always paid me back. Always. There was one occasion she was 2 months late. She was genuinely devastated about it, apologized more than she needed to, and settled it as soon as she possibly could. Outside of that one time, her record with my money is completely clean. In 5 years, not once has she kept a penny of mine. A few weeks ago, Joycey came to me with something new, a business, a food business. And when she first described it, something in me sat up differently to every other time she had come to me with an idea. People eat every single day. Demand is not a question mark. It's totally and daily guarantee. And when we looked at the area together, she genuinely has very little direct competition nearby. The gap is real and it's visible to anyone paying attention. But here is what actually made me feel different. For the first time, she did not come to me with just excitement and energy. She came with research. I had pushed her to dig properly before putting any money down this time, and she actually listened. She came back with pricing data, informal customer interest, and she had already tested herself, cost projection, and a launch plan that made genuine sense. Something about this felt more grounded than anything before, more thought through. This felt like the one. It genuinely did. Then yesterday, we were on a call. We talked about the business for a while. She walked me through her thinking again. I asked her questions this time, real ones, not supportive ones. She had answers, actual answers with number behind them. And then she said she needed to borrow $3,500. $3,500. I told her to start smaller, keep the initial investment low, prove the concept works, then scale up. She pushed back, but she did it calmly, not defensively, not emotionally. She explained clearly that starting small would actually waste money in this specific case. The equipment, the initial stock, the packaging, the marketing, it all requires a proper start or the margin collapse even before she tries to save her first customer. She had thought about this. She was not asking out of desperation. She had a number and she had the reason for the number. $3,500. The most we have ever discussed between us. Every other loan had been small enough that losing it would have been uncomfortable but survivable. This number sits differently. This number has actually weight to it. Can I trust her again? Here is where I've been living inside my own head since that call ended. $3,500 will set my savings back. I know that with complete clarity. My monthly saving is $300, which means $3,500 is clearly a year of careful saving leaving my account in a single moment. If I lend out this money and something goes wrong, not with the friendship, not with the intention to repay, just with the business itself, I'll be looking at another year of not hitting my target. Again, the same cycle I've always tried to break for longer than I want to admit. What if she cannot pay back quickly and it just sits between us, unspoken, heavy, slowly changing how we speak to each other without either of us ever naming it directly. What if $3,500 becomes a thing that quietly poisons the 5-year friendship we have so carefully built? We have never had real financial tension between us, not once in 5 years. Would this be what finally introduces it? And then I keep coming back to something she said nearly the very end of the call, almost as a side note, like she was a little embarrassed to say it out loud. She said, "I would not be asking you if I had any other option." 5 years. She has never said that to me before, not once, which means she has already tried elsewhere, and I am what is left. $7,500 saved, a best friend of 5 years, a repayment record that's never once let me down, 3 businesses that's never made it, a food idea that finally feels different, $3,500 and the words, "I could not ask if I had any other option." She's not asking for a gift, she's asking for a loan from her best friend, which she has always paid back. Do you lend her the full $3,500 and trust the friendship idea? Do you offer half, meet her elsewhere in the middle and protect part of what you worked for? Or do you say no for the very first time in 5 years and hold the line on the saving goal you've been fighting so hard to reach? Tell me, what would you do? I genuinely want to know. Drop your answer in the comments before you keep watching. I want to know where you stand before I share what I actually think about this situation financially. Because here's the thing, this story is not just about Joycey. It's about a financial mistake that most people make with the people they love most. And there's a name for it. It's called the relationship lending trap. And it works like this. When we lend money to someone we love, a friend, a family member, a partner, we're not making a financial decision. We're actually making an emotional one. And emotional decisions with money almost always cost more than we planned. And here's what the relationship lending trap looks like in real life. The person asking is someone whose character you trust completely. Their repayment history is clean. The intentions are genuine. So your brain says, this is safe, this person is safe. But your brain is measuring the wrong thing. It is measuring their character as a person, not their ability to execute a specific business plan, not the market condition, not the timing, not the risk profile of the idea itself. Joycey has never kept money that was not hers. That is true. But Joycey has also never built a business that lasted beyond its first year. That is equally true. They are two completely separate facts. And the relationship lending trap is what happens when our love for a person causes us to treat these two facts as if they're connected when they are not. The question you should actually be asking when lending money to anyone you love is not, do I trust this person? The real question is, do I trust this specific plan with this specific amount at this specific time? Those are different questions. And getting them confused is how good relationships develop financial tension they never fully use. Here's the practical framework. Before lending any significant amount to anyone in your life, run what I call the 3 separate tests. Test 1, the character test. Has this person demonstrated consistent financial reliability with me before? Yes or no? Test 2, the plan test. Does this specific business idea have evidence behind it? Research, market validation, realistic projections? Yes or no? Test 3, the loss test. If this money never come back, could I absorb that financially and emotionally? without it permanently damaging this relationship? Yes or no? All these tests need to pass before any significant money moves. Joycey passes test 1 easily. She has a clean repayment record. Joycey is starting to pass test 2 this time. The research is there. The market gap is real. But test 3 is where you have to be brutally honest with yourself. Because if this answer to test 3 is no, if losing $3,500 would damage either your finances or your friendship, then the answer to lending question probably should also be no. Regardless of how much you trust and love this person, this does not make you a bad friend. It makes you a financially intelligent one. And sometimes, the most loving thing you can do for a relationship is protect it from the financial tension that destroys more friendship than almost anything else. And if you found this useful, please subscribe, because every single week I bring you a real life financial dilemma, a real lesson, and a real framework you can use on your own. Thank you.